Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to start with our new unit called Queuing Models, that is Unit 4. Queuing models are otherwise called as waiting line models. Now, if you see in everyday life, you can see that number of people arrive at a cinema counter to purchase the tickets. If the people arrive too frequently, they will have to wait for getting their tickets. Under such circumstances, the only alternative is to form a queue, which is called as waiting line. Occasionally, it so happens that a person issuing the tickets will have to wait. That is, the person who is issuing the tickets remains idle until the people arrive. Here, the arriving people are called as customers and the people issuing the tickets is called server because they are providing the service such as issuing the tickets to us, and the person who is getting the tickets, that is us, is called as customers. So we should not think that always the customers are nothing but the people. It might be say it might be say the letters arriving at the typist desk for typing, and also you can see the vehicles or the car or bike which is waiting near the petrol station to get their tank filled. So these are the examples for servers and customers, right? Also, the machines arriving to the repairman shop for getting to be repaired. So in that case, machines are like customers, and the mechanic who is repairing those machines, he is termed as a server. So it can be noticed that service may be performed either by moving the server to the customer or the customer to the server. So you can very well see that the waiting lines are not only the lines of human beings, but also say the aeroplane seeks to land at busy airport, or ships to be unloaded, machine parts to be assembled, cars waiting for the traffic lights to turn green, customers waiting for attention in a shop or supermarket, or the calls arriving at a telephone switchboard. So these are all the very good examples for the arriving units and also the servicing units, which is called as servers. So this is the pattern of our queuing systems. Say arrivals, that is those who need service. So arrivals, they form a queue and they are being served. So once the service is over, they will departure. So arrivals are input. So once their service gets over, they will leave the system. So they will leave, that is departure. So that is output. So the system constitute what? This queue plus service. This is what your system. So our queuing system is completely described by these following characteristics. Number 1, input pattern. Input pattern or otherwise called as arrival pattern. That is how the customer arrives and join the system. Arrival pattern, input pattern or arrival pattern. Number 2, the service mechanism. The service mechanism or service pattern. Next, queue discipline. So I repeat once again, our queuing system is completely described by the input pattern, or otherwise called as arrival pattern, the service mechanism, or otherwise called as service pattern, queue discipline, and customers' behavior. So our entire queuing system is completely described by these 4 points. So what is meant by input pattern? Input pattern means the way in which the customers arrive and join this system is called as input pattern. Mostly the arrivals are in random manner. Yes or no? Because they won't come, say, the number of occurrences won't be same at regular intervals. Say in 1 minute, say 5 customers may arrive to the reservation counter. In the next 1 minute, nobody won't be coming. Another say next 2 minutes, say 10 to 15 members might come. So the number of arrivals is also random at random intervals. So service pattern. Service pattern means the way in which the customer are being served. The way in which the customers are being served is called as service pattern. Here, that service time, okay, the way in which the customers are being served is called service pattern, or otherwise, in how much time the customer are being served, how many customers are being served is called as a service pattern. Now, here again, the service time won't be fixed. It might be a random or it might be a constant. So if the for example, say if the machines are coming to the repair station for being repaired, it is not necessary that it will take the same time duration for all the machines to be repaired. So depending upon the repairing so depending upon how much damage it has occurred to that machine, so the time duration will be consumed. So again it is a random variable. Next property, queue discipline. Queue discipline, or otherwise service discipline. Queue discipline or otherwise service discipline. That is, a service discipline or the order of service, service discipline, or the order of service is a rule by which the customers are selected for service from queue. This is what you mean by queue discipline. The most common queue discipline are, say, first in, first out, or first come, first serve. So this you can see in hospital or in the railway reservation counter. Whoever arrives first, okay, they are being served. That is what you mean by first in, first out, or first come, first serve. Second one, last in, first out, or last come, first serve. So this you can see very well. Suppose say if you are loading the goods in a truck or van, whichever is loaded in the last, that only we are going to remove first. So last in, first out, or last come, first served. Next comes service in random order, service in random order. The last one, priority basis. Service in random order, this you can very well visualize. Suppose say the video jockey, they are picking up the letters and they read the comments means. So randomly only they are picking up the letter. Those who posted the letter first, their letter is not read by them. So the service provided by the video jockey is in a random manner. Similarly, if you see the priority basis, suppose say if you go for say suppose if you want to go for a checkup in a doctor's hospital, even though we come first and we are to be served, based on the emergency situation, say some accident occurred means, so we are giving priority to them. And also you can visualize this in voting booth. Okay, we will be standing in a queue for voting, but we very important person, VVIP comes, what they will do, they immediately move inside and they will cast their vote and they will come out. So that is the priority basis. So these are the some of the queue disciplines which we follow. Then comes the customer behavior. Now we are going to discuss customer behavior. The customer behaviors are balking, reneging, jockeying. These terms are quietly different to you. What is meant by balking is a customer who refuses to enter the queuing system because the queue is too long. That is, once he enters a system, on seeing that the queue is too long, he don't even join the system and immediately he leaves the system. That is what you mean by balking. What is meant by reneging? The arriving customer joined the queue, but since the queue is not at all moving, due to impatience, the customer leaves the queue. That is what you mean by reneging. Now comes to jockeying. Jockeying means, suppose say if we have say parallel queues. Suppose if we have say parallel queues, say like this. Suppose if we have say parallel queues, here we have say server 1, server 2, say server 3. All the servers are doing the same job. Suppose say if there is one customer here, okay, now he sees that this queue is not moving. What he is doing is, he is jumping from this queue to this queue in order to reduce the waiting time. So this is what you mean by jockeying. Jockeying means when there are parallel queues, a customer who jumps from one queue to another queue with shorter length to reduce the waiting time. So this is what you mean by jockeying. These are the customer behavior which comes in queuing system. Next we are going to discuss the states of the system. In queuing model, the probability distribution of arrivals, the service time distributions of the customer are in general functions of time. But in a long run, it may be say it might become independent of time. For this I will give you an example. Suppose say if we are boiling the water, say, so in 1 minute say the temperature might be say around say 10 degree or 15 degree. Around say 5 minutes or it might reach around say 25 degree. Then say in another 15 minutes it reached say 100 degree. Now what happens initially, as time varies, there is a change in the temperature. But once the temperature has reached to 100 C, what happens, even though the time varies, there won't be any change in the temperature. That is, the temperature remains fixed. That is, even though the time increases, there is no increase in the temperature. That is, the temperature remains fixed. That is, it has become independent of time. So that is the meaning of the state of the system. That is, initially we can see that the distributions of the arrival, that is, the arrival follows some probability distribution. Similarly, the service time will also follow some probability distribution. Initially, if we see, they are all time dependent, but in a long run, what happens? That is, in a long run means what? You are letting your time tending to infinity in a long run. As time keep on increasing, in a long run, what happens? These factors, they are all become, say, independent of time. So we have the states of the queuing system are classified as transient state, steady state, and explosive state. Now we'll come back to what is meant by transient state. Transient state means a system is said to be, say, transient state when, now transient state, a queuing system is said to be transient when its operating characteristic like input and output are time dependent. What is meant by this? Suppose, say, during the time gap of 2 minutes, say, this much customers arrive, and during the time gap of this much, say, this much customer arrive. So initially, if we speak, all these arrivals, input means what? This arrival pattern, they are all time dependent. Similarly, service. So in 5 minutes, the server can provide service to 10 customers. In 10 minutes, he can provide service to, say, 5 customers, like that. So what can you say? Initially, if you see, all these input pattern, that is the arrivals as well as the service pattern, they are all dependent on the time. What is meant by steady state? When these operating characteristics are time independent, that is, this arrival pattern and this service pattern, if they are independent of time, then it is called as steady state. That is, if Pn of t, this we have discussed in Poisson process. What is meant by Pn of t? Pn of t means probability that there are n customers in the system during time t. Right? If Pn of t denote probability that there are n customers in the system at time t, then the system reaches steady state if limit n tending to infinity of Pn of t is going to be what? Just Pn. Meaning, it is not time dependent, it is purely independent of time. Even though as time increases, this probability that number of customers in the system remains fixed, and therefore limit as t increases, this Pn of t won't vary with respect to time. It has reached what? It is independent of time. It has remains fixed or constant, which is nothing but what? Pn. Right? This is what you mean by steady state. This is meant by explosive state. What is meant by explosive state? If the arrival rate of the customer, if the arrival rate of the customer is greater than the service rate, then the queue length will go on increasing as t approaches infinity. This state is called as a explosive state. What is meant by this? Suppose, say, if there are, say, 5 customers in a queue. Right? And the server is providing service to, say, 3 customers in, say, 10 minutes. or 3 customers in 10 minutes. That means what? Still 2 more customers is pending. As time increases, what happens? The arrival rate of the customer will also increase. In that situation, what will happen? The arrival rate is greater than the service rate, and therefore it will become what? Explosive state, or otherwise it will become a bottleneck for the system, for the customer. Okay, it will be very uncomfortable for the server to provide service if the queue length keep on increasing. Next comes Kendall's notation. Kendall's notation for representing queuing models. Kendall's notation for representing queuing models. This is the standard way of representing these 4 queuing models. That is A slash B slash C, this colon D E. What does this A represents? A represents probability distribution of the arrival. Probability distribution of the arrival. Now if you see here, the arrival means what? The arrivals of the customer. Arrivals of the customer to the service station won't be what fixed. It is in a random manner. So in practice, we will assume that since the arrival is in random, we will assume that it follows Poisson distribution. Okay, the arrival follows Poisson process, or otherwise say probability that n customers in the system during the time t. So the arrival follows say Poisson distribution. Now what does this B represents? B represents probability distribution of the service pattern. Of the service pattern. What does that C represents? C represents number of servers. C represent number of servers. That is how many servers are there to provide service. D represents capacity of the system. Whether the capacity is finite or whether the capacity is infinite. That is, the system can accommodate finite capacity or the system can accommodate infinite capacity. What does that E represent? E represent this Q discipline. Q discipline, that is first come first serve, or last in first out, or service in random order or priority basis. Now here in this unit 4, we strictly adopt the Q discipline, first come first serve basis only. In this unit, we are going to discuss the standard models. That is, these are the 4 models we are going to discuss. I will explain what does this mean. M slash because our Q discipline is what? First come first serve. That's why in all the models, the Q discipline, that is this E under consideration, is first come first serve. I use the same notation which they used in textbook, multi-server. The last one, M slash say C K. Here we have single server finite capacity, multi-server finite capacity. These are the 4 models we will be discussing. Now if you see here, the distribution of the arrival. A represents what? Probability distribution of the arrival. Here we will consider it as a Poisson process. The arrival process, that is n customers are arriving during the time interval of length t. Meaning what? It is following time factor is playing a role. It comes under Poisson process. N arrivals are taking place in the time interval of length t, and therefore it follows Poisson process. And we know that from the previous unit, third unit, it is very clear that Poisson process is Markov process, and therefore the arrival is a Markovian, right? Similarly, if you see, the probability distribution of the service is exponentially distributed, and therefore the inter-arrival time, if the arrival follows Poisson process, then the inter-arrival time, or otherwise the service time, follows exponential distribution, and that exponential distribution is also what? Markovian. Okay, so both the probability distribution of the arrival as well as the service, they are all what? Markovian. And number of server in the first model is single server, and the capacity is what? It can hold infinite capacity, and all the Q discipline under this unit is what? First come first serve basis only. The second model, m/m/ multi-server. C represents multi-server, infinite capacity, first come first serve. If you see the third model, it is single server with finite capacity, that is it can hold only finite number of people in the system, and this is multi-server and finite capacity. Now we will discuss this model in detail. Now we are going to discuss the important topic, that we are going to derive steady state probability of birth and death process. Here the birth refers to the arrivals, death refers to the departure. So birth death process means arrival departure process. We are going to derive the steady state difference equation. From there we are going to derive the steady state probabilities. So before getting into our proof, we should know what does this lambda represents. Lambda represents arrival rate, that is arrival rate of the customer per unit time. So this means arrival rate, that is the number of customers arrive per unit time, that is number of customers arrive per unit time. It may be per hour, per minute, per second, or anything, per week, it may be anything. Mu represents the service rate, that is number of customers are being served per unit time. Okay, service rate means the number of customers are served per unit time, that is denoted by this mu, and this lambda we call it as arrival rate, that is number of customers arrive per unit time. So this notation we should be very clear before getting into the proof, right? Now we are going to derive the steady state probability of birth death process. I already explained what is the meaning of birth death process. Now let Tn of t denote probability that there are n customers in the system. Probability that there are n customers in the system at time t. N customers in the system at time t. Lambda n represents, so lambda represents arrival rate. Lambda n represents average arrival rate, okay, average arrival rate, that is average number of customers in the system per unit time, right? Then mu n represents average service rate, so lambda n represents average arrival rate when there are n customers in the system, and mu n represents average service rate when there are n customers in the system. Now, what is the probability that there are n customers in the system during the time t plus delta t? What is the probability that there are n customers in the system during the time t plus delta t? Now, what are all the possible cases that we will come across? So, what is the probability that there are n customers in the system during the time gap of t plus delta t? Now, this can be written as in how many possible ways? Now, we can assume so in time t, say there are n arrivals, okay, n units, and in delta t time gap, say in delta t time gap, there are say no arrivals. In delta t time gap, say no arrival and no service. No service. Therefore, in time t plus delta t, I will have say n arrivals. Yes or no? So, we can put it in the tabular format. So, in time t, okay, say delta t, in delta t time period, say arrival, departure, then t plus delta t. So, I am interested in what? In t plus delta t, I want n customers in the system. I want n customers in the system during the time gap of t plus delta t. That means what are all possible? Here I can have n customers in the system during time t, and no arrival and no departure takes place in delta t. Again, the same argument what we discussed in Poisson process, the same argument. So, in delta t is a small change in time t. So, in delta t time period, not more than one arrival is possible. So, one arrival and one departure is possible in delta t time period. Not more than one arrival and one departure is possible in delta t time period. So, n units are taking place in the time interval of length t, no arrival, no departure in delta t, and therefore in the time interval of length t plus delta t, I have n arrivals. If I have say n plus 1 arrivals, customers in the system during the time t, and no arrival in delta t and one arrival, see we should add the arrivals and we should subtract the departure. Okay, so n plus 1, so no arrival, one departure. So already we have n plus 1 in time t and one departure taking place in delta t, and therefore in time t plus delta t I have say n customers in the system. Then I can have n minus 1 in time, the time interval of length t, one arrival takes place here and no departure in delta t, and therefore I will have n customers in the system during the time t plus delta t. So, these are the possible combinations which I will get for the system to have n customers in the system during the time t plus delta t. Now, how can I write probability that there are n customers in the system during the time t plus delta t? So, what is the meaning? Previously, there are n customers in the system during the time t, and no arrival taking place when there are n customers in the system, and no departure taking place when there are n customers in the system. So, please remember, under the Poisson process, we defined the Poisson process definition. What is that Poisson process definition? Probability that one occurrence in the time interval of length delta t is equal to lambda delta t plus order of delta t, where order of delta t is too small, right? Similarly, what is the probability that 0 occurrence in delta t is given by what? 1 minus lambda delta t plus higher powers of delta t. Now, use the same concept here. So, what will I get? What is the probability that there are n customers in the system during the time t plus delta t? What is the meaning? That means there are already n customers in the system in the time interval of length t. So, n customers in the system, the time interval of length t, and zero arrival in the system in delta t time period. So zero arrival, zero occurrences in time delta t. So why is possible? Why is that possible? Since there is no occurrences in the time interval of length delta t, because I have already n occurrences, n arrivals in the time interval of length t, and therefore I consider the case no arrival in the time interval of length delta t. That means 1 minus arrival rate. What is it? Lambda n. Since there are n customers in the system in the time interval of length t, no arrival is taking place. This has to be clearly stated. Lambda is just the average arrival rate. Lambda n means what? Average arrival rate when there are n customers in the system. So 1 minus lambda n, okay, into delta t plus order of delta t I am neglecting, into 0 departure. So 0 departure in delta t. What is it? 1 minus mu. So when the customer departure, once the service gets over, so we have to write that with respect to the service rate. So 1 minus mu n delta t, or this combination, this and this and this. So the number of occurrences in this event is independent of number of occurrences in the interval of length t. So therefore the events are mutually exclusive. The events are mutually exclusive and they are independent. Okay, mutually exclusive means if this occurrence is taking place, if this type is taking place, then this is not possible. These two cases won't occur. If this is occurring means these two cases won't occur. If this is occurring means these two cases won't occur. That is what you meant by mutually exclusive. The occurrence of one event prevents the occurrence of the other. Okay, so if this type is happening means then these two type are excluded, or that is what mutually exclusive. So this is one way of expressing, or I can have this combination. What is it? Probability that there are n plus 1 customers in the system during the time t and no occurrences is taking place in delta t. No occurrences. So 0 occurrences is taking place in delta t. So 1 minus, why there is no occurrences taking place in delta t? Because previously the average arrival rate is what? N plus 1. So previously there are n plus 1 customers in the system, into one departure. One departure takes place in. Good morning students. In the previous video, we stopped our discussion here, that is when there are n plus 1 customers in the system during the time interval of length t and 0 arrival takes place in the time interval of length delta t and one departure takes place. So one departure takes place when there are n plus 1 in the n plus 1 customers in the system. So mu, departure means once the service is over, departure is taking place. So mu n plus 1 delta t, or what is the another possibility we have? When there are n minus 1 customers in the system. So probability that there are n minus 1 customers in the system during the time interval of length t and one arrival is taking place. One arrival is taking place when there are n minus 1 customers in the system during the time t. So One arrival means what is the probability that one occurrence taking place in the time interval of length delta t? Lambda delta t. So that is lambda. This arrival is taking place since there are n minus 1 customers in the system during the time t. Okay, all these are mutually exclusive. All these are mutually exclusive events, and the events, the occurrence of the event in each interval are independent of each other. So one arrival taking place and no departure. So probability that zero occurrence in delta t. So 1 minus mu n minus 1 delta t. So these are the possible cases to have n customers in the system during the time interval of length t plus delta t. So Pn of t plus delta t equal to, here if you multiply 1 into 1, 1, this 1 into Pn of t, so Pn of t, you are neglecting the higher powers of delta t. Since delta t itself too small, delta t the whole square is almost negligible, minus I will have Pn of t mu n delta t minus Tn of t lambda n delta t. Then I have Tn plus 1 of t mu n plus 1 delta t. Then plus Tn minus 1 of t lambda n minus 1 into delta t. That is this term. If I multiply Pn of t lambda n minus 1 delta t along with this term, I will get delta t the whole square. So, and I am neglecting all delta t the whole square and higher powers of delta t because delta t is too small. So, powers of delta t will be almost approaching to 0 and I am neglecting those powers. So, now collect the term independent of delta t to the left hand side. So this is the term independent of delta t. So Pn of t, as we did in the derivation of Poisson process, the same thing we are doing here. Then I left with here minus lambda n Pn of t delta t, then minus mu n Pn of t delta t, then plus Pn plus 1 of t mu n plus 1 delta t, then plus Pn minus 1, this term, Pn minus 1 of t lambda n minus 1 delta t. Now Pn of t plus delta t minus Pn of t equal to, in all these expression delta t is common, so take delta t outside, and if I club these two under the for these two terms Pn of t is common, so I am clubbing those two terms. So minus lambda n plus mu n into Pn of t plus Pn plus 1 of t mu n plus 1 plus Pn minus 1 of t lambda n minus 1. So bring this delta t to this side. Pn of t plus delta t minus Pn of t divided by delta t equal to minus of lambda n plus mu n Pn of t plus Pn plus 1 of t mu n plus 1 plus Pn minus 1 of t lambda n minus 1. Now taking limit as delta t approaching to 0 on both sides. So limit as delta t approaching to 0 to the right hand side, if you see, right hand side is independent of delta t. So this is like a constant. So limit of a constant is that constant itself. Limit extending to a of c is what? This c only. Similarly, limit delta x, delta t tending to 0 of the term which is independent of delta t. So, I will get back that term only. So, if you see your LHS, this just coincides with the definition of the derivative of Pn of t with respect to t. So, d by dt of Pn of t equal to, what will I get? Minus lambda n plus mu n Pn of t plus Pn plus 1 of t mu n plus 1 plus Pn minus 1 of t lambda n minus 1. So after simplification, we are getting our left hand side to be Pn dash of t equal to minus of lambda n plus mu n into Pn of t plus Pn plus 1 of t mu n plus 1 plus Pn minus 1 of t lambda n minus 1. Denote it as equation 1. So this equation we got when there are, say, some customers, say n customers in the system. N customer in the system, say somebody is there, say that n is greater than 0. Now what happens if n is equal to 0? Okay, if there is no one in the system. So what are all the possible cases to have no customers in the system during the time t plus delta t? That is during the time interval of length t plus delta t. So what are all the possible cases we will come across? So t, delta t, in delta t we can have one arrival, one departure is possible, not more than that is allowed because delta t is too small. So during that time gap only one arrival or one departure is possible. So t plus delta t. Now I want 0 customers in the system during the time t plus delta t. So what are all the possible cases? So if there are 1 customers in the system during the time t and one departure take place in the time interval of length delta t. So departure means you will subtract, arrival means you will add. So already in the time interval of length t I have 1 customer and that customer departure in the time interval of length delta t. Then in the time interval of length t plus delta t, there won't be any customers in the system. Also another possibility. So there is no customers in the system during the time interval of length t and one arrival takes place in the time interval of length delta t and one departure takes place in the time interval of length delta t, and therefore no customers in the time interval of length t plus delta t. Now no customers in the system during the time t and no arrival takes place in delta t and no departure takes place in delta t, and therefore there will be no customers in the system during the time t plus delta t. So these are the 3 possible cases we will come across for the system to have no customers during the time t plus delta t. So now how can you write these combinations? So what is the probability that there are no customers in the system during the time t plus delta t? This is given by 1. So these 3 are mutually exclusive events. If this event is happening, then there is no possibility of the occurrence of these 2 events, and these events are independent of each other. These are all independent of each other and these are all mutually exclusive events. If this event is taking place, then this won't happen, this won't happen. If this event is taking place, this won't happen, this won't happen. So what is the probability to have 0 customers in the system during the time t plus delta t? That means there are probability that there are 1 customer in the system during the time t and no arrival is taking place. No arrival is taking place in the time interval of length delta t. No occurrences in the time interval of length delta t when there are what? 1 customer in the system during the time t. So 1 minus lambda 1 delta t, because this arrival is happening when there are 1 customer in the system. and departure, one departure. So one departure is taking place when there are one customer in the system. So mu1 delta t, or so this is mutually exclusive. So this is happening. This happened means this cannot happen. This is happening means these two things cannot happen. So this possibility, or I have another possibility. What is that? Probability that there are no customers in the system during the time t, and one arrival is taking place in the time interval of length delta t when there are no customers in the system during the time t. One arrival. So lambda arrival with respect to what? When there are no customers in the system during the time t. And one departure is taking place when there are no customers. Right? Or what is another possibility? When there are no customers in the system during the time interval of length t, okay, and no arrival is taking place, the time interval of length delta t, no arrival, zero occurrence in delta t. So 1 minus lambda naught delta t. Since there is no arrival in t in time interval of length t, and no arrival is taking place the time interval of length delta t, we won't talk about the service because there is no one in the system. But if you see the previous cases, there are some customers in the time interval of length t, and therefore we are talking about the departure. Similarly, if you see here, no arrival in t, but there is an arrival in time interval of length delta t, and we talk about the departure of that arrival. But if you see, no arrival is taking place in the time interval of length t, and no arrival is taking place in the time interval of length delta t, and therefore we won't talk about the service, and therefore we won't have this mu over here. Now collecting the terms as we did for n customers in the system, P naught of t plus delta t equal to, if you multiply here, what will you get? P1 of t into P1 of t into 1, that is multiplied with this expression. So mu1 delta t. If you do this multiplication, you will get higher powers of delta t, and I am neglecting those higher powers, plus here you will get what? Higher powers of delta t, p naught of t, lambda naught, mu naught, delta t the whole square. I am neglecting the higher powers of delta t because delta t itself too small. So we are neglecting the higher powers of delta t, plus p naught of t minus p naught of t into lambda naught delta t. Now if you see, now if we collect the terms independent of delta t to the left hand side, p naught of t plus delta t minus p naught of t equal to delta t into p1 of t into mu1 minus p naught of t into lambda naught. Now bring this delta t to the left hand side, p naught of t plus p naught of t plus delta t minus p naught of t divided by delta t equal to p1 of t mu1 minus p naught of t into lambda naught. Now taking limit as delta t tending to 0 on both sides. So limit as delta t approaches to 0 on both sides. Now if you see the left hand side, this left hand side coincides with the definition of derivative of p naught of t with respect to t. So this will become d by dt of p naught of t. Now if you see your RHS is purely independent of delta t, and therefore limit of a constant is nothing but that constant itself. So we will get p1 of t mu1 minus p naught of t into lambda naught. So this you take it as equation 2. Now in steady state, what happens? So far we didn't talk about steady state at all. So in steady state, what happens? Even though the time varies, the probability that the customers remaining in the system remains to be fixed. So in steady state, your Pn of t and P naught of t are independent of time t. They are not time dependent. If they are time dependent, then it will become a transient state. In steady state, what happens? Your probability that the number of customers in the system won't vary with respect to the time. It is independent of time, and therefore if you see your equation 1, Pn dash of t, left hand side we have Pn dash of t. But in steady state, what do we know? Our Pn of t and P naught of t are independent of time t. That means what? Your Pn of t and P naught of t are constants in steady state. They are fixed. They are like a constant in steady state. And therefore, what will happen to the derivative of that function? Pn dash will become, Pn of t is constant, means Pn dash of t will become 0. Similarly, P naught of t is constant, means P naught dash of t becomes 0, and therefore our equation becomes now minus lambda n plus mu n. No more function of time. This will become just Pn. Okay, Pn plus Pn plus 1 mu n plus 1 plus Pn minus 1 lambda n minus 1 equal to 0. This is our 3. Similarly, our 2 becomes what? Our left hand side is becoming 0, and therefore it will become now T1 mu 1 minus P naught lambda naught equal to, this is becoming 0. So these two equations are called as steady state difference equation for birth and death process.